Sorry if I sniffle through this video. I'm sick again. It's that time of the year, I guess. I just keep getting colds. I think my nose is swollen. Anyway, I haven't really had any video ideas lately, so I just haven't been putting much out. Except for on the podcast. If you're not subbed to the podcast, like, go do that. That actually has a reliable upload schedule. But anyway, a viewer the other day was like, hey, you should talk about the community. And usually, like, when I started this channel, like, sure, my first video was very personal, but after that, it was like, I'm not going to do personal videos. I'm just going to do informational ones. But, like, for the last year, I don't know, I feel like my videos have been moving more and more into opinion territory, which I try to avoid. But they're just easier and kind of more interesting a lot of times, I guess. I like not having to prepare for these. Not that I do much prep work anyway. Like, almost every video I have is just, like, off the cuff with maybe an outline at most. So I don't forget things. But yeah, so that's what we're doing today. This video is completely opinion. Just gonna talk about... I've literally just found all my makeup brushes. I haven't been down in this basement in a while, and I don't know why they're down here, but I've been wondering where they are, and they're right there, covered in basement schmutz. So yeah, the community, like, what should we say about that? Let me see exactly what they said. So I have a jumping off point here. Because, of course, I already forgot. Can you make a video detailing how the MD community has impacted you? What pros or even cons you see in connecting other MDers? Have you learned anything, etc.? So that's what we're doing. Okay, how has it impacted me? Profoundly. So, God, okay, the history of me on MD communities. I want to say I learned what MD was. Jesus, I don't know. Like 10 years ago. And I ignored it for a while. Because at that time, there were literally just like 3 papers published on it. That was it. And so there wasn't much to do, and there were no communities. I did find one, actually. There was one community. Wild Minds was up at that point, but I never got approved for membership. I applied, but their admin was just gone at the time, and it took months to approve new members. They'd like check in on the forum every couple of months and clean up some spam and approve new members. So it took a long time. It took so long for me to get approved to join Wild Minds that I actually forgot it had even existed. So then in the meantime, I found the subreddit. And the subreddit I really liked, but at that time, there were only a few hundred people. It was not very active at all. And that was it. That was all there was. But I didn't really care that it wasn't active and that there was no one on it, because I had finally found a place to just like unload. And so I did. I would not shut up on that subreddit. I was commenting to everybody. I was making posts, all kinds of stuff. Just whatever came into my head, I was throwing it out there. And I would not shut up. And I would not shut up to the point that the owner of the subreddit was like, hey, you're super active on a really inactive sub. Do you want to like be a mod? And I was like, hells yes. So that's how I became a moderator of Reddit. Just wouldn't shut up. At some point, my application to join Wild Minds was finally approved, so I joined there. But it was already dying. It was well beyond the heyday of like when that forum was really active and helpful for people. And it was just full of spam, and nobody was cleaning it up. There weren't any moderators. It was just the owner, and she was gone all the time. They had a chat feature, but it was kind of meh. So yeah, it was all right. Forums are kind of on their way out on the internet anyway. Like, nobody really uses forums the way they did in like the early 2000s. And during all of this, I was hoarding links. Like, I'm sure like most new maladaptive daydreamers do when they like finally find it after years of not knowing what's wrong, just like finding everything. But back then there wasn't a lot. So I was just falling down these rabbit holes of small little articles, small little blog posts that people have made, defunct websites for people who like tried to start something up, but there just wasn't enough awareness. They were getting no traffic. Nobody was reading them. So it was just some abandoned stuff. And I just started hoarding every link I could find to anything. And then I realized, like I should probably share these, right? Like, where's a good place to share them? In the meantime, I had found Tumblr. I missed Tumblr in its heyday also. Like, I was not on Tumblr back in the day. But in looking up maladaptive daydreaming stuff, I found that there was an active tag on Tumblr. So I made an account there. And I noticed that, like, pretty much just like everywhere else, people could only speak from their personal experience, and they had, opinions and theories because we knew a lot less about it back then. And they just didn't know. They hadn't found all the resources that I had. So I made a blog that focused on resources. And it was received well, and that tag is a lot more active now, and the subreddit is a lot more active now, and Wild Minds is under new management. And there's other communities. There's other communities too. There's active tags on like Instagram. There's active tags on TikTok, which is probably the newest. At some point, people started asking on the subreddit for a Discord, and none of the other moderators really wanted to do it. So I ended up doing it, and that's how I became a moderator of the Discord. And that's going pretty well. Like, that's active currently. And there are more. There are more popping up here and there. Maladaptive daydreaming has just exploded in awareness. Like I said, when I went to the subreddit, there were only a few hundred users, and now there are almost 78,000. The subreddit's going to break 100K this year. And I just threw myself into it, into the community. So I had this little blog on Tumblr that was doing pretty well, moderating the Reddit, moderating the Discord. For a hot second, I was helping moderate the French community because they were going through a change in leadership. I don't actually speak French. That's all sorted out now. I was the admin of the Amino for a hot second. They're not called the admins. I can't remember what they're called. I'm not on the Amino anymore. I was an admin on the Daydream and Blue forum, which was made while Wild Minds was defunct. But I'm not really on that. I spread myself too thin. I had to take a step back from some of the stuff I was involved in. And now we have other stuff. Now we have a newsletter. I'm a co-editor on a newsletter. I'm a co-host on the podcast. I am a founding member of the MDC, which we have a few projects that we're working on. Finally finished the website, so you can go check out the website. What else? I don't know. Just stuff. I make stuff. I'm working on a packet for professionals. I've made some little infographics. I made a little handout to tell new people, these are your next steps. Go figure out what you want to do about your MD, which is a video. I put that in video format so you can actually watch that. I think it's called What Do I Do? Oh, and obviously YouTube. And I also I forgot the one platform that I'm actually using right now. Also YouTube. I have an Instagram, but I'm not very active on it. And that's how the community has helped me. Yes, it was awesome just reaching out and being able to talk to other people, that is invaluable, really. But it also kind of gave me something to do and a sense of purpose. You know, I'm working on things that I'm passionate about, things that I hope will help people. Um, but the big draw is that it's helping me, by, you know, directing my energy into something I can feel pretty good about. So I do think that joining the MD community is important for most people. Just to meet other people like you and to hear about their experiences. I guess you don't have to participate in the community to do that. You can just read the posts and eventually you'll find somebody who does that weird thing that you do too. But interacting with them is definitely good, and you learn so much more in conversation. So I really like the Discord. Like, I love Reddit, but you know, Discord is a chat, so it's, you can uncover a lot more naturally through conversation. You know, so I like that. Forgot what my point was. Why was I going down that thread? Yeah. So joining the MD community, I think it's a good thing to do, to at least look at it. But honestly, I think joining any community that's going to give you like something to do, a sense of purpose, a sense of building something that means something to you, is going to be helpful. It doesn't need to be an MD community. If you're into like knitting, join a knitting Discord. You can build community anywhere around anything that you're kind of interested in. And the thing that's important about it is having other people there, a social net. It's extra cool if it's a social net that shares your experiences, and you can really talk about them and feel validated and feel connected to people in something that you struggle with, that can help you learn how to struggle less. But if you're not into like the MD community, that's okay. Find it somewhere else. Community is important, and it doesn't matter where it is. Yes. What was the other thing she wanted to know? Pros and cons? I gotta look at that message again. Yeah, so all of what I just said is pros. Those are all on the pro side. What are cons though? You're gonna want to find like the community that's right for you, because every social platform sort of has its own culture. And if you don't click with that, I don't know a good way to say it. But if you really can't reconcile that with the way that you interact with people, I guess you're gonna have a bad time. You're gonna have a bad experience with it. You know, like people think Redditors are snipey and mean. I love Reddit. I found a lot of benefit in the Reddit, but there are a lot of people who are like, no, just no. Everyone on there is an asshole. And there are communities that I don't like. I don't click with them. I cannot reconcile them with my own worldview. And that's okay. I don't know how far into like opinion territory I want to get, because I don't want to alienate anybody or make anybody feel bad for being somewhere that I dislike. That's not the point of this. But I mean, if I'm going to be doing like opinion videos, like you might have to be prepared for a shitty hot take every once in a while. So all right, without naming anything, I do not like communities where characters and plots are the central theme of what people talk about. I don't like that. I don't want to talk about my characters. I don't want to hear about your characters. I just don't. It feels like not even an MD community at that point. It feels like it feels like a fandom. Like it's just an OC fandom. And I'm not interested in fandoms, and I'm not interested in communities that run like fandoms. Even the really great ones, like I'm just not the kind of person who participates in fandoms. So when I go to an MD community that feels like one, not the place for me. And comments, not in those communities, in different communities, in any communities, really. But there's just a lot of people. You need to be prepared for people to pretend they know what they're talking about. And I know I do that too. Like I say things as facts a lot. But I feel like I really make the effort to cite a lot of my sources. Like if someone calls me out for a source, I usually have it on hand. But the more you read through comment sections, the more people will be saying things as facts without sources. And you really got to either ask for the source. Like that's okay, you can ask for a source, or try to find it on your own. Like fact check people. And a lot of the times they're right, or at least mostly right. But sometimes they aren't. And it's like, sometimes they're really, really wrong. And sometimes people correct them and sometimes people don't. So you do have to be careful in any community that you're on of misinformation. Like these aren't opinions about ships. These are opinions about mental health that can impact how you view your mental health and how you go about addressing it. So do fact check things. And then there's just opinions, which opinions are fine. It's how people experience things and they want to share that and stuff. Again, Jesus, do I want to go down these things that might upset people? Okay, one that's I don't think will upset anybody, but like on one of the platforms that I moderate, it's Reddit. I'm just going to say it's Reddit. We went through some times where the community was really divided, and they were really divided about things that you wouldn't think would matter so much. The big one was memes. Yes. We were divided about memes on Reddit. Let that sink in. Some people really, really, really hate them. They don't want to see them. They think they feel like it romanticizes something that really shouldn't be, glorified. And it really annoys them to see that in one of the only spaces that we have to really connect with one another. And other people really, really like the memes. They see the relatability of them and they feel validated. So there was a big fight on the subreddit, and we had to poll the entire community and figure out what to do about them. And that's going to happen all the time in any big community. You never quite know if you're making the right decision. I still don't know if we made the right decision about the memes, but we made the one that the community seemed to want the most. And I think it's probably all we can do, because we don't own the community. We just clean up posts that break the rules. We're the custodians of it. But you got to be prepared for that too. Going into a community is seeing someone whose opinion is stupid and pisses you off. Because that's how you're going to feel about it. You're going to be like, holy fuck, wow. Nah, bruh. And some people just aren't prepared for that. Like if you are really, really, really struggling with your MD and you can't stand to see something like a meme, if that really hurts you, it's going to be hard to find a space where you can really feel like you're connecting with people and you can really feel like you're getting any benefit from the community at all. And that's hard. I don't know if that's like a con. It's a con for some people. Some people just aren't going to find the community that they're looking for yet. MD is still really small. We still only have a handful of actually active communities. And when there's only a handful, there aren't these more niche groups that can cater to stronger cases. The subreddit, it's the only one. It's by far the biggest and most active MD space. So it has to cater to the range of MD experience. It has to try to offer some benefit to the people really, really suffering. It has to try to offer some benefit and community to the people who are on the more mild end of the spectrum and are just looking for relatability, who just don't want to feel weird, and everybody in between, and the people who are still questioning if they even have MD, and the people who have different opinions, shitty opinions, some might say. It happens. And we try to focus on the mission of the subreddit. It's a space dedicated to helping people who are suffering by sharing experiences and resources when we can find them. But in that, there's going to be so much variety that a lot of people are going to be unhappy with what they find. We get messages all the time about what gatekeeping douchebags we are, who think that people need to meet some high bar of suffering to even be considered MDers. And the same day we'll get a message saying that we are enabling fucktards who are just encouraging people to go down this horrible path of addiction and misery because we think it's cute and quirky. We get those wildly differing views, perspectives of what our subreddit is and what we are doing to it in the same day, in the same conversation sometimes. I mean, and I'm not even kidding. Like, those are the vast extremes, and we get yelled at about both of them. Which I figure, as long as we're getting yelled at equally, we're probably riding the middle pretty good. Just try to stay in that center lane, So hopefully, my hope for the future of the MD community is that more niche places will start to exist. That there will be more communities for people who want to approach their maladaptive daydreaming in a specific way, where they can really get down to the nitty gritty and bounce these ideas off each other and find good ways forward. Right now, they don't exist. And if they do, they exist for a hot minute and then they kind of flash out. There's always WhatsApp groups. There's always new Discords. There's once in a while, there's new subreddits, and they come in, they go for a little while, and then they fizzle out. But eventually there's going to be a few with staying power. We just got to keep working at it. Not me. I'm already doing too much. You do it. You go out and make a community. And I know I'm laughing, but I'm serious. Like, that's how it's going to be done. The people who are passionate about it are going to be the ones who succeed in it. If you haven't found what you're looking for in a community, make it. Make what you're looking for in a community, because somebody else is probably looking for it too. And it's hard. It's hard to make a successful community. And I wish I had a lot of good advice for you on how to do it. I definitely didn't do it alone. I stumbled through it with other people. And we had the benefit of other people, researchers and stuff, really pushing also for awareness that helped us grow. But I can tell you at least that, like in my experience, never shut up. Never shut up, because that is what kills a community so quick. You want to kill a community fast, have an admin that doesn't talk much. If you don't talk much, neither will your moderators. And if your staff isn't talking much, members aren't going to either. Members, they come in and they're nervous. And they're not sure what to expect out of your community. They have no idea what the culture is going to be like, if they're going to fit in, if they're going to like it, just nothing. They're coming in blank. They're waiting for something to bounce off of. You need to give them something to bounce off of. You need to talk all the time. And that is how we built the subreddit, and that's how we built the Discord, and that's how we kept them going until they were able to sustain themselves. And even now, if all the moderators just stopped talking for 2 months, like, they would die. Maybe not the subreddit. The Discord would. The subreddit's pretty big now, though. I think that would keep going even if we all, ghosted. Not exaggerating, it took the subreddit years to get where it is. It grew very slowly. And even the Discord grew pretty slowly. What it takes is being online every day and making posts and comments throughout the day to give your members something to bounce off of so that they can actually interact in this space. Your community is not going to get going just by making it. It's not a build it, they will come thing. It's not. And there were years, I'm not exaggerating, years of just making these posts every single day and wondering, is this futile? Like, this is, nobody's coming, nobody cares. And these communities, they're never going to be anything. They're never going to be what we want them to be. They're not really helping anyone. And you got to know why you're hanging on to it. And I guess I had the benefit of just like determination. There just wasn't other communities, and I really, really wanted there to be. Like, really. So I was okay with just strong arming it, with just being there all the time and not shutting up. Because even if it didn't go anywhere, even if there were no other MDers in the whole goddamn world, except for these 400 people, I was not going to let those 400 people forget that they were there. Like, really need you guys. And you've got to be prepared for that. Be prepared for months of working hard and being there all the time and dumping all your effort into something that nobody else is going to love or care about. It's just how it goes. And I feel like that's where we're going. I feel like that's where the communities are at. The communities are at the point where we have the original ones. And the problem with the original ones is, like I said, that there was nothing else. So they had to be open to everyone. There's nothing niche about them. They need to be a space for all types of maladaptive daydreamers. They just do, because there's no other choice. There's nowhere else that somebody can go. And they really do try. They really do try. Even then, some people still feel left out. But I mean, there's only so much we can do. And I feel like I don't want to sound like I'm ripping on myself, but I'm not particularly qualified to run a massive community. I do my very best, and I'm very passionate about this. And I feel like I'm a good moderator. But I'm not someone with a deep understanding of the internet and how it works. I'm not someone with any like technical ability. I can't figure out the goddamn auto mod for my life. I'm not a leader really in any sense of the word. I think I'm a pretty good like second or third in command, like an idea man, which thank God we work in teams. And I don't want anybody else, any other leaders of the communities, to feel like I'm ripping on them either. But these initial communities were made by people like me, people who maybe didn't have the know-how, but they had the passion. And there were only a few of us. And, we came together and we made things happen. And individually, we made things happen. Like, there are other communities. There's like the Facebook community and other ones probably. Sorry, there's like been a couple of forums and things. There's other stuff anyway, and they were made by the people who were there, who just happened to see it early, and really, really wanted to make it happen for the next generation. And I feel like the next generation has finally arrived. We have been keeping the lights on for so long, and now the Gen Zers and stuff, they're growing up and they are kind of ready to take the reins, and they're going to, especially as they get older. Or not even, it doesn't even have to be Gen Z. It doesn't even have to be young people. It's just as awareness spreads, we're going to find more and more people who are just good at stuff like this, who are good at running online communities, who know exactly what they're doing because they're, professionals or something, because they're natural leaders. Those are the people who are going to start coming into our community just by sheer numbers. There's 78,000 on Reddit. At least a few of them have to be good at this, and they're going to make their own spaces, and they're going to be successful. And that's the best thing. That's what I hope happens to MD. I mean, I'm going to stay and do everything I can do for as long as I can. But the best thing that I can hope for my future in the community is irrelevance. So many people who are better at this than me are going to start working on projects that are way better and more beneficial to the community. And, people are gonna flock there because they're gonna be great. And I'm just going to fade away slowly. I mean, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's what we want for the future of the community, for there to be choice, for there to be places that everybody can go to that are run well, who can help people find they're healthy. So, I don't know. That's it. That's my opinions on the community. Go. Make them. Make them. I'll join your community. If you make a community, send me a link. I'll join it. All right. I'll see you in the next video.